I am joined here by Kyle Fletcher. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us, mate.
Of course. No, thank you.
You're actually in now. We're not doing this. Last time you talked to us, you talked to Lachlan.
Yes, I did.
Through like Zoom.
Yep.
But you're here in person now. I got
Weird,
a
right?
question, mate. You're in Australia. You're from Australia.
Yes,
You knew how hot it was going to be.
I did.
And you still wore the suit.
I did.
That's a brave
because
choice,
I love this business. I love it.
I love it.
I'm sweating so much. So much sweat. I went to take my jacket off before and I said, not going to happen. My back looks disgusting, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I said we walked into the thing because I met him here. I just gone, I didn't realize it was going to be this hot. It's like I nearly just wore shorts.
Yeah. Hey, I wish I wore shorts.
But
Wait, how would that look? Blazers and...
Sure.
Is that it?
I mean, it's cut
Didn't,
off,
like,
so you
didn't,
I
like,
could. I'll just take my pants off right
Didn't
now.
like McAfee do that on a WrestleMania?
I wouldn't be
Got in
surprised, yeah.
trouble? Trouble for it?
God.
Like you're here and like you're not just only just in a match on the show. You're in a match with like three of the noted best workers in the world. Well, now four.
Thank you. Yes.
How does that feel walking in, knowing that across the ring you're going to be looking at Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, and you've got Takeshita right next to you?
Yeah, I think probably the coolest part about that for me is like I'm there as well.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're not like an add-on. You're
14-year-old Instagram mask. Like that same man is going to be standing in that ring with, like on the opposite side to arguably greatest in-ring wrestlers ever to ever do this. And then Takeshita and myself hopefully going to be carrying this company, the industry for the next 30, 40 years into the future. So I think it's just, it's surreal. Very surreal.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, for someone your age, you've got to be, like, so, I don't know about intimidated, not intimidated, but so, like, excited for the fact that AEW sort of, like, put as much.
Yes. Yeah, I know exactly what you're
investment
saying.
into you. You know, I'm trying to word it.
No,
right,
I get it. No,
it's like,
you've nailed it for sure. I think being 26 years old and in this position that I'm in, like it surreal is the best way I can describe it. Like, but yeah, just grateful that I have this trust. Grateful that I'm not out of place in that match. Like that, all of it. It's very cool. Very, very cool.
And especially since, like, you're not really, as much as we're like, he's 26 years old, he's in this thing, you're not exactly an overnight success either. Like, you work through PWA, going to England, going to Japan.
It's been a journey, man.
Like, back and forth. And then when the pandemic hit,
exactly.
Just got, like, it must have been just like, at that point, you're like, I've done all this work. Is all that going to go to waste now?
That's exactly how it felt. I mean, man, COVID was, not arguably, it was the hardest time of my life, man. Like, I spent, 2020? I moved there 2017. So 3 years of, like, this work and everything felt
you guys were really on the brink.
Close. Yeah. We were so close to getting to New Japan, so close to, like, in my head, we'd get to New Japan and then it was just, like, smooth sailing from there, right? And we were just on the cusp. Davis got injured and it was like, okay, as soon as Davis is back, we're going to New Japan, and then it's, like, smooth sailing from there, and then it's pandemic. There's no wrestling in the UK. I have to move back to Australia. I have to get a job in a warehouse.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot imagine how, like, defeating that felt. Like, putting all this work in to just have it feel like it was completely stripped away. But man, I could not be more grateful that it didn't take too long to get the ball back rolling again. I'm very blessed to be where I am.
Seeing, like, one of the probably best matches I've seen live was Aussie Open Velocities in PWA before you. I think it was like the last show before you went away.
It actually did maybe end up being the last one. No, I think we did one more after. We wrestled Lightspeed Express as the tag champs. That would have been the last one. Because it was...
No, didn't you drop it to...
No, because they went back into lockdown.
To a ladder match. Yes.
Yeah, they went back into lockdown. So we were supposed to wrestle the Velocities again for the belts before we went, but everything locked down back in Sydney. So we were like, I guess we're taking these belts with us now. So yeah, I mean, like, in wrestling, everything works out how it's supposed to. We got to take the Australian belts and defend them in the UK and all that stuff, and then come back and drop them to Velocities again. yeah,
Yeah.
it all works out.
So it must have been nice for you to see the Velocities in the Super Juniors this year.
Yeah, it was very
Because you two,
very heartwarming.
Every time that when we talk about on the show matches coming up for PWA, and like they just had a match against the regime.
Yeah.
And I think I was like, they're going to be great because they're basically the same as what Aussie Open are for them. They can be a perfect base for them.
Yeah.
And it turned out it was an amazing match as well.
Not surprised.
It's sort of like, for me anyway, when I'm doing these things, like your match with Velocity is like the standard that I would say, like, this is what they have the chance to be this good.
Yeah.
They're going to have to work really hard to be
Yeah, I feel you. No, the Velocities, I mean, even before we got to wrestle them, I knew that they were pretty special. So I think it was one of those situations where it's very hard for people to break out of Australian wrestling a lot. I think unless you are willing to upend your life and move to another country, like getting out of Australia is so hard. So hard to get noticed, whatever. So yeah, to see them finally keep plugging away, keep being as good as they've always been, to finally get that opportunity to go to Japan and stuff. Yeah, it was very rewarding for myself.
Yeah, and now the how different now is your approach to wrestling now that you are primarily a singles competitor? Because it's like you don't have that. Like you're in amazing shape anyway, but your cardio has to be completely different.
Sure. Yeah, it's more so than like the cardio or any of that stuff. It's when you're in a tag team, you always have someone to bounce ideas off and someone to like every idea with a tag team. It's like you pitch it to each other and you go, I have this idea for this, what do you think? And then you workshop it and then you have like someone to bounce ideas back and forth off. Whereas for me, this character, my matches, everything, it's all what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to having that, like, I wouldn't say
also
full
when you're bouncing it
control,
off
but
your partner, they've got the same idea of making it look as good as it can for you guys. Whereas if you're doing it with your opponent, they'll be like, that might make me look the best.
Luckily I don't wrestle anyone that's like that, thankfully. But yeah, it's just a completely different creative process, which I think is more so the thing that is a challenge for me, that is new for me. It's that like trusting my own instincts and trusting my own ideas and almost going through that same creative process, but just in my own head and bouncing back and forth off the walls type thing. Yeah.
Also too, because like before branching out into this single thing, you never really did promo work.
Yeah,
So,
no.
like,
I mean, that's more so like an independent wrestling thing. I think when you look at like independent wrestling, it's just go out and have a match.
Yeah.
Go out and have a match. There's not really a lot of room for. I mean, there is, but it's like.
Trust me, I know.
Yes, we know. But it's like a month between events. You don't have that time to like tell in-depth stories.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until New Japan was probably the first place doing the backstage stuff. Like every match you come backstage, you just talk to a camera. You just talk about whatever you want. There's no whatever.
There's no restrictions.
I got very comfortable doing that, and I think that helped a lot. But yeah, this is the first time I've ever had a microphone in my hand and 10 minutes on television to talk about something. Like it's a very challenging part of it that I'm only just like uncovering. Yeah.
Are you given like dot points and you're like, this is where the general direction we want you to go? And then
So-
like your creative process is your creative process?
Everybody works differently. I think one of the things with AEW is it's a lot more of a collaborative process. For example, the promo where I shaved my head, I don't think I recited that promo to anyone apart from myself. Like there were people that
Just in the shower.
pretty much, yeah, legit. And then it was like I had written out my own dot points, so I like follow, but like I'd run it by a couple of people, like this is the gist of what I'm gonna say, this is my dot points, and they're like, yep, cool. So like doing it live on television is like, okay, I guess I'll go do it now. I guess I'll shave my head.
With the girl, you're like, maybe I should have rethought this.
No, by that point, it had been in my head for that long that it was like I was excited. I was like, I can't wait to get this shit blonde hair on my fucking head. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
So you've got this weekend, of course. You talked about like it's so hard for us Australians to get noticed.
Yeah.
And like we have the night before, we've got an Australian.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any chance of like people getting seen out of that, where they're like, oh, that guy?
Oh, I'd say yeah, absolutely. I think anytime there's a bigger company coming to the country, it's an opportunity. I mean, there's not always a lot of eyes on the Australian wrestling scene, and like this weekend is probably one of the biggest.
Definitely be the biggest of the year.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it's like, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for people. I don't know who's going to be in attendance at the show. No idea who's going to be in attendance at the show. So like literally anyone from AEW could just come along and watch.
There's still seats in the Mez. So,
what?
Standing.
Do the plug. Where can you get tickets? Do the plug.
I think it's Renegade.
Guys, come on! Professionals!
Calm down, mate. This wasn't my promo. I didn't have dot points.
Pro Wrestling League.
Pro Wrestling League. Go to Pro Wrestling League Facebook. There's links there. But you're going to be very, like, we kept telling them.
Oh my god.
Because we sold all the tickets, mate. We didn't have to worry.
You said there's more tickets. What are you talking about?
Because they added, like, standing rooms. We sold all the seated. People can't find a seat now. There's no seats.
You got to make it as easily accessible as possible.
We can.
Then they're going to have to go to Facebook like, I got to go to Facebook. I got to scroll through this. I got to find a link.
If you can't go to Facebook in this day and age, that's more your problem than you're not going to be able to find Eaton's Hill.
Believe me, I know that it is their issue, but
it could happen.
It's still going to happen.
That is fair.
Say click the link below. You edit this.
Clink right here.
See, he's just doing that because he knows I edit, so he doesn't have to worry.
You got to do more work.
I've got to do more work.
You're welcome.
Because he's a dick. You're in the ring. You're facing like Will, who's like you guys are up and down the road together. So there's a level of comfortability in working at least.
For sure.
With Kenny coming back, he's had a lot of time off. Mm-hmm. And you've seen him do Wrestle Kingdom.
Of course. Yeah.
That's got to be like exciting for you to go. Now I've tested myself against Will, who I know is amazing. Like, I guess Kenny was kind of like Will before Will.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now it's like another chance to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm most excited about. This is like, it's another test. It's another chance for me to show that, like, yes, this is Will Ospreay and this is Kenny Omega. Imagine I pin Kenny Omega. Imagine I pin Will Ospreay in that situation. Then it's like, that's me. Like, I'm better than them. You know what I mean? Like, that is such a stamp. That is it's such a big opportunity for me to level up in this game, right? For me to go to that next level in my career. It's very much like, from a fan perception, if they see me beat Kenny Omega, then it's like, oh, he's on that level. You know what I mean? So it's a big opportunity for me to do that.
It's at the stage now where AEW put enough behind you now that they can put you on a poster with Takeshita, Ospreay, and you don't look out of place. You know, not like the fourth wheel. You're very much on that same level.
Pretty cool.
Mate, thank you again for joining us.
Pleasure.
I cannot wait to see what you guys do on Saturday night.
It's going to be fun. Appreciate you, man.